I am adjacent or closer to white and white power. Because think about it, we got black men who from the U.S.
That's what I was
do
about to
this,
say.
okay?
I'm about to say
that do the same
some
thing.
black-
So
So
are we
think
not
about
going to
these-
show up for
There are
black
some
people?
black people.
Because there was a big population of black men who did not vote.
Hold on, and to answer that,
okay.
and I'm gonna be real right now, and
Let's
black
be
men that
honest.
come in this thing right now,
All
show me since that election, you seen black men getting their ass mollywopped by the police, you seen
Yep.
black men stuff. Show me how it's trending now, because black
Yep.
women like, you got it, our hands are
Well,
off.
don't forget that
Our
not
hands
all
are off.
black women voted for
No,
Kamala,
no,
by the way.
and they're the same
So,
ones. Oh, hold on,
are we
I
not
got
going to
them
show
to-
up for black
I
women
know.
anymore? Are we
Pause,
not going to
but
show
the
up for
thing
black
is,
men
the
anymore?
I show up, and I said
Okay.
this on the video. I kept receipts. I know people who kept receipts. Them black women who didn't show up, you ain't never getting me to support them. I was
Okay.
like, you would never get me to support them black men, but I know black men who sit here, and I was like, dude, it wasn't, and just like we were having a conversation early. Like, tell me the reason. I'm not trying to convince anybody of who they voting for, whatever. Tell me the reason you're voting, especially as a black person. That means a lot to me, because no matter what you think, I've been in rooms with bigoted and racist white people. It's two different people. Everybody ain't racist. Some people just bigoted, and we all got a little bit of that in us.
Oh yeah.
And you talk to them, they
No, we all don't have a little bit of bigoted racism in us. But let's continue. We're not all a monolith.
don't even like you even more when you kissing they behind, and you know they don't like you. They don't like you more than the black person they don't care for, because they like, well, you think you still, like, you coming to do business with me knowing I don't care about your type of people, no matter if you claim to be them or not. And so I've asked black men, I said, why'd you vote for them? Because I'm looking at you, your pocket don't align with what they're doing.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And because they've asked me, well, why didn't you? Because your pocket, yeah, but that's not everybody. And that's not always the thing, is you should be voting according to your money. Your morals got to count for something.
Yeah.
And so they'll say, well, immigration, or you know,
Just the main two
can we say
things.
abortion? Can we say that word?
Yeah.
Or abortion. And then I've started asking black men, because I think I told him earlier, I asked a black guy who was going kind of back and forth with me about his support of Trump. I said, I've never seen so many black men worry about illegal immigration and abortion until they had to justify supporting Donald Trump.
I don't know if y'all understand as black women, and I don't really care about your socioeconomic status in this conversation. Whatever the reason is that a black man decides that he wants to rock with Donald Trump, because y'all didn't even listen to her argument. She's arguing in favor of we should have voted for Kamala Harris strictly because of her skin color, and we should have stayed on board, and we should have stayed on code as a result of that. Not your morals, not your principles, not your spirituality, not where you're going in life, not what it is that you believe in, not that you don't believe in killing babies. None of that matters. Just make sure you stay on code. So her argument is she's never seen so much support for when you ask them, and they given her a reason, they given her valid reasons according to what she's describing, aside from the fact that we're not a monolith, aside from the fact that we all think according to whatever it is that where we are in life, where our geographical location is, all of that stuff, right? If we got children, none of that matters. Only thing that matters is when she asks you, she's not looking for insight. She's trying to debunk what she would call an excuse as to why it is that you voted for Donald Trump. Never mind the fact that black people wasn't against Donald Trump prior to him running for president of the United States of America. As a matter of fact, we rocked with Donald Trump and we celebrated him. And he was in all of the movies and we watched his programs and he was in the rap videos and all of this stuff. But all of a sudden, we have to stay on code. Now, I want you to also take something else into consideration before we look at the rest of this video, all right? And I always like to break it down like this. If a white person was having this exact same conversation and they were basically saying that y'all should have stayed on code with white people, and I'm not rocking with you if you're not staying on code with white people, then I can't believe that any white person would vote for Kamala Harris or vote for anybody else as black or Brandon Johnson or Karen Bass or whatever it is that you want to talk about. I wouldn't believe that why would you ever vote for, why ain't you stay on code with white people? You know what we would call them? We would call them racist. We would absolutely call them racist. We would hold them accountable and we would call them racist. You know why? Because it is racist. The basis by which you're forcing people or trying to justify holding people accountable is strictly because of the color of their skin and not because of anything else, and you don't accept any other reason. Let's continue to watch, y'all.
Yeah.
Never. And I've been in politics since I've been a teenager and couldn't even vote. And I've never seen so many black men. Oh, these are legals. These are legals. Oh, bullshit. When I'm like, bro, you got like 3 baby mamas and your ass on the corner selling. Yeah. So it's like, tell me.
So you talking to a dude that's on the corner selling rocks with 3 baby mamas, and you having a conversation with him about, man, get the fuck out of here, bro.
I respect you more if you say, hey, I don't want a brown woman in that chair. It was misogynistic. Got it. I didn't have a problem voting for the black dude. But you had a straight problem voting for a brown woman. And I don't claim she black or Indian because that's her thing. I'm like, for a brown woman who literally would have not, people like, oh, both sides of the coin. No, one is going to slit your throat. The other one might stab you. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the one that's going to stab me. I got a better chance of surviving.
Do you hear how stupid this sounds? And I always like to leave a link in a comment section or a link in a description in order to give credit where credit is due, because it's the right thing to do. And so I'm going to link back to their podcast or their platform or whatever, so on and so forth. And I'm glad that you guys sent me this. You actually sent it to me on a different platform, and I had to find the full version because I wanted to get the full context. This is so dumb. This is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. I would love to have this type of person on. Let me try to reach out to him.
For black
had
men.
A plan.
She had a
whole
plan.
Plan. But it didn't matter
men.
because that
matter.
ego, the same thing with Trump, though. That's why I told people I don't dislike Trump because Trump told you exactly who he was.
You got to respect that.
I said, but the same thing. Trump tapped into the base nature, especially in 2020, of what white men were feeling because real talk, white women did this whole pushing of toxic masculinity. And we was like, every man ain't toxic. What are y'all talking about? They was like, no, toxic. So you had men feeling like they were getting ganged up on. You had history being exposed more to white people during that time a lot more. They was like, well, wait a minute, we didn't invent this. Or our ancestors did do that. So they were feeling heaped on as white men. And Trump came right in like a
real
superhero.
quick. I know we got to move on.
Go.
Remember when Trump, he was in office the first time, right? And he's about to get out of office. Remember, he was trying to get the votes to come back, but he lost. Remember all of a sudden the platinum plan?
Right.
He didn't run on none of that this time.
None.
He didn't run on the platinum plan. The platinum plan was proposed by Ice Cube to both sides. And that was during his second time that he tried to run for president, in which I believe that the election is stolen because there's no way in the world that you could tell me that Joe Biden got the majority of the votes of all time I don't believe that shit. But the platinum plan was actually from Ice Cube, and it was being proposed to both parties, in which the Democrat Party said that they weren't interested in listening to it, and they would revisit it once the election was over. And that was during the whole 2020 election. All right. So let's put things in perspective. That's not what Trump was running on. That's something that was being proposed by somebody that was in the black community that wanted to hear it from both sides because they wanted to have conversations about if their vote mattered, and they didn't want it to just be singular to one party. They wanted to hear the pitches from both parties in order to win the black vote. So, for people that say that they've been in politics for a long time, this is very ignorant.
He had nothing to say about
none of that. But think about the black men who pushed that with him. Because even when he was running last year, like when we talk about the black men we won't support, I knew I'm a fan of a lot of podcasts. So when I'm listening, I listen. So I heard a lot of them teeter-tottering on, both sides of the fence, like, Trump this or Kamala this. Because those black men were so busy thinking they were white adjacent because they had a little bit of power. And so now they're like, well, Trump ain't good for the economy. I'm talking financial black guys who was talking, all that smoke they was talking to get people to vote for Trump, like sleight of hand. And now they're coming back to Biden because I was like, oh, you literally undoing. So just real quick, I want people to understand when Forbes came out with this, the survey saying by 2053, the black medium household income is going to be at 0. Y'all hear that? 0. Now, this was a couple years ago they came out with this. That's when we still had the springboard of what our ancestors did for us. Now, we don't even have the springboard of that. And they made sure they've done that. So when they taking away these people right for legal citizenship, because the other thing we got taken to play, this is a money grab. I sat in immigration offices and I know how much they're getting out of these people's pockets. And I know how they're dragging on this process for these people to become legal. So it ain't as easy as people thinking. And these people still paying taxes through a TIN number. Let's get that straight too. I was like, they do this and then they got us infighting and they use the laws that our ancestors set up to literally dismantle them so they can get the people out of here.
What? First of all, this is just so disgusting. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications. If I remember, I'll try to see if I can get this person on a platform to have a discussion, not even to debate, but to have a discussion. Because it's frustrating. it's so stupid to hear people trying to force you to stay on code for stuff that you don't morally support or doesn't align with your own principles or where you're trying to go or what you really stand for. It is what it is. But let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you.